impressions table contains approximately 30 million records per month. You need to create an ad analytics system to meet the following requirements present: ad impression counts for the day, campaign, and site_name. The analytics for the last year are required. Minimize the data model size. Which two actions should you perform? A. Group the impressions query in Power Query by ad_id, site_name, and impression_date. Aggregate by using the count rows function. B. Create one-to-many relationships between the tables. C. Create a calculated measure that aggregates by using the count rows function. D. Create a calculated table that contains ad_id, site_name, and impression_date. The two actions are A and B. You have an API that returns more than 100 columns. The following is a sample of column names: client_notified_timestamp, client_notified_source, client_notified_sourceid, client_notified_value, client_responded_timestamp, client_responded_source, client_responded_sourceid, client_responded_value. You plan to include only a subset of the return columns. You need to remove any columns that have a suffix of sourceid. How should you complete the Power Query encode? Let source equals raw data equals source table id equals client data data. Remove sources equals underscore raw data. List.select table.column names row data. Each text dot contains underscore sourceid in. Remove sources. A. Table.combine column. B. Table.find text. C. Table.from a list. D. Table.remove columns. D. Table.remove columns is the correct option. You are modeling data in a table named Sales Detail by using Microsoft Power BI. You need to provide end users with access to the summary statistics about the sales detail data. The users require insights on the completeness of the data and the value distributions. Which three actions should you perform in sequence? A. Create a blank query as a data source. B. Create a parameter that uses query for a suggested values. C. Create a visual on a report page using fields from the new table. D. Create a query that uses common data service as a data source. E. Specify the following query, then close and apply table.profile #sales detail. The sequence of the actions are A. Greater than E. Greater than D. You are preparing a financial report in Power BI. You connect to the data stored in a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet by using Power Query Editor as shown in the following exhibit. You need to prepare the data to support the following visualizations that include all measures in the data over time, year-over-year calculations for all the measures. Which four actions should you perform in sequence? A. Rename the attribute columns as year. B. Rename the measure columns as the year. C. Use the first row as headers. D. Use headers as the first row. E. Unpivot all the columns other than the measure. F. Transpose the table. G. Change the data type of the year column to date. The right options are C. Use the first row as headers. E. Unpivot all the columns other than measure. A. Rename the attribute columns as year. G. Change the data type of the year column to date. You have the data lineage shown in the following exhibit. The Contoso dataset is consumed directly by the _A Contoso Bikes report. B. Contoso dashboard. C. Real-time dashboard. The Contoso dataset is consumed directly by the A Contoso Bikes report. You have the data lineage shown in the following exhibit. The real-time dashboard depends on _A1 dataset, B2 dataset, C3 dataset. The real-time dashboard depends on C3 dataset. You have a folder of monthly transaction extracts. You plan to create a report to analyze the transaction data. You receive the following email message. Hi, I've put 24 files of monthly transaction data onto the shared drive. File transactions 201801.csv through transaction 201812.csv have 4 columns, while files transactions 201901.csv through transaction 201912.csv have the same 4 columns plus an additional 3 columns. Each file contains 10 to 50 transactions. You get data from the folder and select Combine and Load. The Combine Files dialog box is shown in the exhibit. The resulting query will contain all the columns from the 2018 transactions. True or false? The statement is true. You have a folder of monthly transaction extracts. You plan to create a report to analyze the transaction data. You receive the following email message. Hi, I've put 24 files of monthly transaction data onto the shared drive. File transactions 201801.csv through transaction 201812.csv have 4 columns, while files transactions 201901.csv through transaction 201912.csv have the same 4 columns plus an additional 3 columns. Each file contains 10 to 50 transactions. You get data from the folder and select Combine and Load. The Combine Files dialog box is shown in the exhibit. The resulting query will contain all the columns from the 2019 transactions. True or false? The statement is false. You have a folder of monthly transaction extracts. You plan to create a report to analyze the transaction data. You receive the following email message. Hi, I've put 24 files of monthly transaction data onto the shared drive. File transactions 201801.csv through transaction 201812.csv have 4 columns, while files transactions 201901.csv through transaction 201912.csv have the same 4 columns plus an additional 3 columns. Each file contains 10 to 50 transactions. You get data from the folder and select Combine and Load. The Combine Files dialog box is shown in the exhibit. Setting data type detection to based on the first 200 rows will improve import times. True or false? The statement is true. You are a data analyst at a company that uses Power BI. The company has 12 departments. You have created a Power BI report that shows data for the organization's staff and training from the HR dataset. You have been asked to create the same report for each department. What are 2 possible ways to achieve this goal? A. Create a URL for each department to filter the report by the department. B. Create a workspace for each department and add the report to the workspace. C. Create a dataset for each department, copy the report, and use the report with the department dataset. D. Add a parameter to the report. The 2 possible ways are A and D.